So what is work experience? And is it important? Let's make sure that we talk about that today. What is work experience? And is it important? You are asking such good questions, and we're going to address that today. Hey, I am Gina Visram, career coach, consultant, and content creator, and one of my absolute passions is talking about work experience, encouraging work experience, and my hope is that purely from watching this short video, you will also be engaged with the potential that work experience can bring to your life in your early careers journey. So let's start with what is work experience. Work experience is often seen as 1 or 2 weeks of working with an employer, often in a time when you are school-aged. So you might be 14, 15, 16, 17. So that is one description of work experience. It is a valid one. It might be the reason that you're here. Maybe your school has a work experience program. But it's important to recognize that there is a wider take on work experience, which is as important. So let's get into that. So here's the wider take on work experience. And I'm not exaggerating at all when I say this. Our careers these days are often a 50+ year journey. Would you believe? Truly, 50+ years. And as such, really, our working experience is all of our working experience. So yes, it may start with the traditional definition of the 1 to 2 weeks of a work experience program that you might have at school, but it is also a range of things. It is your whole journey. It is the experience that you have through your teens, your 20s, your 30s, and beyond. Everything that you do is work experience when it comes to your career development. There's a real chance, though, that you are here as somebody who is early on your career journey. And so let's break down what that can look like beyond the 1 to 2 weeks of typical work experience working in an employer, which that in itself I'll be coming back to explain even further. So as I mentioned, the term work experience can really be a catch-all when it relates to the multiple ways that you are building your transferable and your employability skills. So in your life, what might that look like now, in the past, and in the future, now that you're really, really engaged with the possibility? That can include work shadowing. So work shadowing is when you are following somebody. As it sounds, you're going along to meetings, you're going along to court, you're really just getting a sense of a day or two, normally that might be the length, of their working experience. Volunteering. Volunteering is a biggie, and maybe that's something that you've been doing since a preteen, since you were a little bit older. But your volunteering routes that you have taken, whether that is through an initiative at your school, where you have maybe supported in a primary school or in an elderly care facility, or even years ago during COVID, supporting in food banks and a range of other ways, that is all volunteering. The work that you might be doing in your community, even in your religious community, that can be volunteering, right? So you are building your employability skills regardless of what you are doing on your volunteering journey. So that's a big one. Volunteering can come under work experience. I'm excited to talk about one now that sometimes people forget or take for granted, and that might be working for your family business. So let's say that a parent or a close family member that you work with owns a supermarket, owns a restaurant, owns absolutely anything. Maybe they own a service-based business. And since you've been a preteen or a teenager, you've supported them creating some of their social media marketing or their digital assets, right? You might be doing this for mom and dad, for your guardian, but that is legitimately part of your work experience journey. So that all counts also. Are you entrepreneurial? Do you see yourself that way? Do you know that even if you are buying and reselling sneakers, if you were doing that with any kind of retail goods, if you sold lemonade when you were younger, if you created a tuck shop for yourself, for your peers when you were in school, all of these things are signs that you are entrepreneurial. And that very much also counts, unsurprisingly, as part of your work experience. Are you a content creator? Do you enjoy making videos? Do you have a TikTok, a podcast? Do you write a blog? All of those things that you're doing off your own steam, your initiative, your passions, guess what they are? And say it with me now. Work experience. So I thought it was really important that you have a full description of what work experience is. So I hope that's incredibly useful. That all said, now, I am somebody who also works in a school and facilitates a work experience program for our students. And if you're watching this because you're also going to be doing some work experience, please bear in mind that your careers leader, your head of careers, your work experience coordinator in your school might really be thinking of that traditional example of work experience, the 1 to 2 weeks of work with an employer, as what they want you to organize. And that is no bad thing. That is an incredibly valuable experience. So if you have an opportunity to do that through your school, you're being encouraged to find an opportunity, please jump to it. It is absolutely worth it. There are so many stories that I can tell you about this. And actually, I'm likely to make this a series, so I probably will. If, however, your school does not have a fixed work experience program, if you are at university and you are not doing internships and that sort of thing, it is not too late. This is the time for you to create your own opportunities. Remember that in your school holidays, in your university breaks, you can find and create opportunities to do work experience. And let me tell you, every statistic I've ever looked at, including the High Flyers research statistics about the success rate of applicants to the top 100 companies within the UK for graduates, all the research tells us that work experience is beneficial. So why not do it? Why not make sure that regardless of whether or not your school has a program, it is something that you commit to? Around this video, I'm going to share some resources of where else you can get some guidance. And as I said, I will be turning this into a series as well. So I hope you found this really useful. I hope you're on the train. Whether or not you're entirely convinced, I very much welcome your questions. Happy to create further content which will support as part of this series, or through the Dive Into Your Career audio podcast, the Your Career and Future TikTok, or anywhere else where I share valuable careers content. I'm Gina Visram, career coach and consultant from Your Career and Future, host of the Dive Into Your Career podcast, and general social media enthusiast, so you can find loads of careers content via Your Career and Future on a range of socials. Hope you found this useful. Make sure you ask some questions, and I look forward to seeing you in the next part of this series.